10 a.m. on April 15th, 2021, exactly a week after we launched the airplane, and we're getting ready to go out. Actually, we are going out on our first official flight. We're going to head down to Ernest Sound and do a herring survey to see if there's any herring coming in there spawning. So we're heading out of the seaplane base at Petersburg. You see a few boats tied up at the drive-down ramp up there. They're getting their halibut gear on, getting ready to go longlining. Now you can see it's a beautiful day today, far different from what it was last week. We had snow and wind and rain and snow and cold weather and stuff last week. This week it's turned off beautiful. In fact, it was setting record high temperatures for the dates through this period of time. I think it was almost 60 degrees, well, it was over 60 degrees on this day. So I'm going to taxi out of the seaplane base here and take a left turn kind of southwest down the Wrangell Narrows for a ways. That gives me a chance to warm the engine up properly and get some takeoff distance. I usually do that, head down towards the ferry terminal or that area for turning around and taking off. Now we're down here at that spot and turning around for takeoff. Taking off here to the east past town. That's usually the way we take off. The wind usually comes in from the east, and it's the best takeoff direction no matter what it's doing almost any place else. There's an exception to that when the wind's coming out of Petersburg Creek, or once in a while if we get a squall or something that's coming through, but generally it's coming down the east through the channel here. We're climbing up, and I'm going to turn out to the left and make a 270-degree turn and head south down the Wrangell Narrows. Right now we're headed towards Kupernoff Island and the big city of Kupernoff. I think the city of Kupernoff is the smallest incorporated city in the state of Alaska. Well, it's low tide right now. I think it's a minus tide, a -1 or something like that when we took off of here. We want to get down there to the area where the fish come in to spawn on a flood tide, just a slight flood tide just past low tide. That's when the fish start coming in. They're grouped up together, and with the sunshine down there on the rocks and stuff warming the water up, it should bring them right in. Oh, that's why we head out there at low tide. Got a beautiful day today, clear sky. I'm going to climb up to 3,500 feet to clear the ridges and stuff, take a direct route as possible down to Ernest Sound. Going to follow the Wrangell Narrows here down to where it splits off. It turns to the right up here a ways and then takes a left turn and goes out into Sumner Straits. Where it takes the right-hand turn, there's a slough there called Blind Slough, and then a valley that goes through that bisects the island. It almost makes it into two islands. So we got Blind Slough right there on the right, and then straight ahead of us is Blind Slough. They don't connect, but they almost connect. So anyway, it's a good valley to go through to get from one side of the island to the other. We're going to come down into Sumner Straits. Got Zerimbo Island there in the distance on the right. Now over the windshield, we got the Stikine River Delta. Renda Island is right over the propeller, with Caden Island, known as High Island, just behind it, the Alaska mainland in the distance. And then just in the distance there, just coming into view, is Wrangell Island. That's where the airport is. And then as we come up by this mountain, then the city of Wrangell is right there. So we're just coming out of Blind Slough into Sumner Straits right now. This is a 2.5-hour round trip that we're making here, so we got to speed things up a little bit to get it all to fit into a timely manner on the video. We're going by Zerimbo Island on the right. Warnofsky Island is just coming up right now, and then just ahead of us we're Edelin Island, and that's King George Creek that we're going over there. Over the north end of Edelin Island here, Zimovia Straits is just to the left. We're going to cross over Anita Bay and then head into Menifee Inlet. And then in Menifee Inlet, I'll start reducing the altitude and drop down to survey altitude as we run across the outside edge of Bronson Island. Descending out of Menifee Inlet, we're coming into Ernest Sound, and just over the cowling at Ernest Sound goes to the east there, forms into the Bradfield Canal. That's Deer Island right over the spinner, and then Niblack Islands are a bunch of small islands. They're pretty neat islands with a bunch of inlets and stuff in them, protected areas in them. They're small islands, but that's what's coming up underneath the prop spinner right now. Well, we're coming into Ernest Sound, and we're going to be paralleling the shoreline of Bronson Island, looking for fish here, and then heading over to Point Eaton. Now we're coming up on the main spawning area now. They can spawn anywhere here in Ernest Sound, but this is kind of the primary spot where we're looking at. From here, this is Emerald Creek, and then we'll go along this shoreline, and there's actually some fish here along this shoreline, a little bit of spawn up there by Vixen Point, which is the point right over the nose. There's Vixen Inlet that goes in there over the nose and goes to the left, and we'll be flying there. We can see some predators there, some sea lions, some gulls, and some surf scooters. Those are all predators of the herring and the herring eggs. So this is where we're looking for fish, and this is where we find some on this day. So I slowed the video down a little bit, but it's still 2 to 4 times normal rate, so it's a little jiggly here. But we'll circle around a little bit and look at some fish down here on this point, and look at some fish on another point, and fly around a little bit more and look at some more fish. Well, this is Vixen Inlet, and this is the Cleveland Peninsula, which is actually a peninsula off the mainland. Ketchikan is in that direction over the nose, about 30 miles or so. Coming out of Vixen Inlet and kind of headed towards Union Point. That's that point just right over the nose. And we did see some herring spawn here, about a quarter mile or so of it. This is where we saw the most action. There was a lot of gulls down there and a lot of sea lions. So we'll take a good look at this and see if we can get a count of the fish and get an accurate measurement of the length of the spawning area. So we're done looking at those fish. We're heading to Union Point, which is right there, just right on the right there, the point. This is Vixen Anchorage we're flying over. We're going to go into Union Bay and circle around it. Off over the nose is Lemisher Point, and we're going to fly along it, and then we're going to head across to Onslow Islands. The other side of that little peninsula, Lemisher Point, is Clarence Straits, and the land mass on the other side of Clarence Straits is Prince of Wales Island. That's in the vicinity of Thorn Bay. Just here on the left is a little community called Myers Chuck. It's identified in these islands and stuff here. You can't get a very good look at it, but it's a small community there. That's right here on Lemisher Point. Then we hit Lemisher Point and head across to Onslow Islands. So this is kind of the mouth of Ernest Sound here from Lemisher Point over to Onslow Island. And just to the left of us is Clarence Straits. As I said, that goes up north and intersects into Sumner Straits. Prince of Wales Island is on the left there, and the peaked mountains is Edlin Island, of course. Oh, they can be herring spawn around here. We didn't see any, but this would be a good spot in here for herrings to spawn. And we looked real close, didn't find anything, and then left and headed for home. We came down on the east side of Edlin Island, and we're going to head back up mostly on the west side. We're going to cross McHenry Inlet here and then head up into Brunette Inlet. This real narrow inlet we're coming into is Brunette Inlet. It comes within a mile of intersecting into Anita Bay. And right down here on the right, just over the wing, is Brunette Inlet Fish Hatchery. They raise chum salmon there. They were raising silver salmon there. I don't know whether they still are or not. Kind of a neat facility. Well, anyway, we're going to head up Brunette Inlet and then through a little pass, and then we'll drop into King George Creek. Then we're back into the Sumner Straits, and then Sumner Strait, Blind Slough, and back to Petersburg.